Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world obsessed with destinations. Society teaches us to chase titles, milestones, trophies, and finish lines. We are told that happiness is on the other side of success. That fulfillment lives somewhere out there after the promotion, after the degree, after the perfect relationship, after the applause. But let me ask you something simple. What if everything you're seeking is already unfolding in the process of getting there? What if the real gift is not in the destination, but in the journey itself? Let's be honest. We've all been guilty of racing through life, eyes fixed on the next achievement, the next big win. And yet, when we get there, what do we often feel? A brief moment of satisfaction, maybe even joy. But then it fades, and we ask, what's next? That's because we've been taught to chase outcomes rather than embrace the transformation happening within us as we move forward. Your journey is not just the path to your goal. It is the sacred ground where you evolve. It is where your character is shaped. Your perspective deepens, your courage is tested, and your wisdom is earned. Every step, every struggle, every quiet moment of effort when no one is watching, that's where meaning is born. Too many people wait to feel successful. They say, I'll feel proud when I reach the top. I'll be happy when I finally get what I want. But life isn't a delayed reward. You don't have to wait until you arrive to celebrate who you are becoming. Every inch of progress you make, every small decision to rise instead of retreat is a victory. Think about this. The most defining moments of your life probably didn't happen at the finish line. They happened in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the climb, in the late nights and early mornings, in the moments when you wanted to quit but chose to keep going. That is the journey. That is where your identity is formed, not in the destination, but in the stretching, the learning, the unfolding. And here's something powerful when you begin to love the process. You stop fearing the outcome. You no longer tie your worth to whether or not everything works out the way you imagined, because you start to realize that success is not a place you arrive at. Success is found in showing up fully where you are, learning from every experience, and continuing to move forward with intention. Now, some of you might be in a season of waiting, a season of working behind the scenes, without recognition, without results that others can see. And it's tempting to feel discouraged, to wonder if it's all worth it. Let me reassure you, this is where it's happening. This quiet space you're standing in is not a delay. It's not a detour. It's development. You are being shaped into the person who will be ready for what's coming next. If you skip the journey, you skip the transformation. If you're only living for the outcome, you'll miss the depth of the moment you're in right now. And I promise you, there's beauty in the now. There's wisdom in the work. There's joy in the process if you dare to pay attention. So, how do we start living this truth? We begin by honoring our progress, not just our perfection. We celebrate the fact that we showed up even when it was hard. We learn to look in the mirror and say, I may not be where I want to be yet, but I'm further than I was yesterday, and that matters. We also practice presence, because too many of us are physically here but mentally elsewhere, thinking about tomorrow, worrying about yesterday, and in doing so, we rob ourselves of the gift that is today. The journey becomes rich the moment we decide to be fully present for it. And most importantly, we remember that becoming is not a race. There's no trophy for getting there first. You are on your own path. No one else has your exact combination of dreams, strengths, setbacks, or seasons. So why compare your journey to someone else's destination? The truth is, the more you focus on becoming the person you're meant to be, the less pressure you'll feel to arrive. Because you'll realize you're already living the story. Right now. In real time. And every chapter counts. So let us stop rushing to the end of the story. Let us slow down long enough to appreciate the courage it takes to keep going. Let us breathe in the lessons, the relationships, the resilience, and the growth that are forming within us along the way. Because when we truly understand that the journey is the destination, we no longer need to chase meaning. We find it right here, right now, in the beautiful, messy, miraculous process of becoming who we were always meant to be. We often think of failure as something to avoid. It's painted as the end of the road, a sign that we were wrong, weak, or not good enough. But that view is not only incomplete, it's dangerous. Because when we define failure as the opposite of success, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to grow. The truth is, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a vital part of it. In fact, many of the most powerful lessons we'll ever learn don't come when everything is going right. They come when things fall apart. Think about your own life. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, a relationship that ended, a project that failed, or a goal that slipped out of reach. It probably hurt. It may have left you confused, disappointed, maybe even heartbroken. But if you look closer, you'll often realize something important came from that pain. Clarity, strength, a new direction, or maybe a deeper understanding of who you really are and what matters to you. That's the thing about failure. It refines us. It humbles our ego and sharpens our focus. It reveals cracks in our foundation that we couldn't see when everything was going smoothly. It's not comfortable, but it is necessary. Because you cannot build something strong, something lasting, on shaky ground. Failure exposes what needs attention. It teaches us to pay closer attention, to work smarter, to listen more deeply to ourselves. And let's talk about detours, those moments when life takes you in a direction you didn't expect or maybe didn't want. They can feel frustrating, unfair, even paralyzing. But so often those detours are where the magic happens. They lead us to experiences we never would have chosen, but that we needed. They introduce us to people we never would have met. They help us discover strengths we didn't know we had. What feels like a delay is often divine redirection. I've met people who were devastated when they didn't get into the college they dreamed of, only to later realize that the school they did attend gave them opportunities and relationships that changed their lives forever. I've seen people get laid off from jobs they loved, only to be pushed towards starting a business or pursuing a passion they had long buried. In the moment, it felt like a breakdown. Looking back, it was a breakthrough. We must begin to trust the process of our journey, even when it's messy. Especially when it's messy, because life doesn't follow a straight line. It unfolds in loops and lessons. It brings us back to the same places over and over until we're ready to learn what we missed the first time. The question isn't whether or not we will fail. The question is, what will we do with it when we do? Will we let it define us or refine us? Will we shut down, or will we lean in and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because there is always a lesson, if we are willing to listen. Sometimes failure shows us that we were chasing something that wasn't truly meant for us. Other times it shows us that we still have growing to do before we're ready for the thing we want. And sometimes failure doesn't have a deep explanation. It's just part of being human, part of learning, part of stretching into new territory. Either way, it is not the end. It is a chapter, a part of your story, and often it becomes the part that makes you stronger, more compassionate, more creative, and more resilient. We must also be careful not to let the fear of failure keep us from even starting. So many people stay stuck, not because they lack talent or vision, but because they are afraid to fail. But the real failure is in not trying, in not risking, in not showing up fully for your own life. Progress requires vulnerability. It requires the willingness to step into the unknown and to keep moving even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. And when those inevitable failures and detours come, because they will be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a friend. Don't beat yourself up for being human. Don't confuse a moment of disappointment with the end of your story. Give yourself permission to begin again, to learn, to adapt, to rise. Because when we stop seeing failure as something to fear and start seeing it as part of the process, we become unstoppable. We stop hiding. We stop hesitating. And we begin to live with a kind of quiet confidence, not because we know everything will work out perfectly, but because we know that even when it doesn't, we'll be okay. We'll learn. We'll grow. And we'll continue forward stronger than before. Let's shift the way we see failure and detours. Let's embrace them not as roadblocks, but as essential parts of the journey. Because the truth is, they are not taking you off course, they are shaping you for the road ahead. And one day, when you've reached a place of clarity and confidence, you'll look back at those very moments, the ones that hurt the most, and realize, that's where I became who I am today. There is something powerful, almost sacred, about the ability to pause in the middle of life's chaos and say, I am thankful. Not for everything being perfect, not for everything going according to plan, but simply for the moment itself, for the breath, for the chance, for the presence of now. In a world that teaches us to constantly strive, to reach, to chase the next goal, the next level, the next big thing, we are rarely taught to stop and appreciate where we already are. Yet, that simple act cultivating gratitude for the present might just be the most transformational step on your entire journey. Too often, we associate gratitude with arrival. We think, I'll be grateful when I finally get there, when I have more, when things are better. But if we wait for circumstances to be perfect before we allow ourselves to be thankful, we miss the richness of life happening all around us. Gratitude is not something we reserve for when the work is finished. It's something that shapes our perspective while the work is still unfolding. When you walk in gratitude, your entire outlook shifts. You begin to see opportunity where others see obstacles. You notice progress instead of only seeing what's missing. You start to recognize the value in your daily steps, rather than holding out for the final destination to validate your efforts. And most importantly, you begin to understand that the journey itself is worthy of your appreciation, not just the end result. Gratitude grounds you. It roots you in the now. Because while ambition keeps your eyes on the future, it is gratitude that keeps your heart in the present. And the present is where your life is actually happening. The only moment you ever truly own is the one you're in right now. You can't go back to yesterday. You can't jump ahead to tomorrow. But this moment, this breath, this conversation, this lesson, this is real. This is where the magic begins. Now, I know it's not always easy to be grateful when you're in the thick of it, when you're struggling or doubting or trying your hardest just to stay afloat. But those are the moments when gratitude becomes the most powerful tool you have. Because it doesn't change your circumstances, it changes you within them. It helps you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, from frustration to perspective, from fear to faith. Imagine waking up and before reaching for your phone or diving into your to-do list, taking just 1 minute to say thank you for your breath, for your mind, for the chance to live this day. It doesn't take much, but that single moment of presence can set the tone for everything that follows. It trains your brain to look for what's working rather than obsessing over what's not. And over time, those little moments of gratitude add up. They build resilience. They strengthen your spirit. Let me tell you something that may surprise you. Some of the most successful people in the world, people who have everything money can buy, are deeply unhappy. Why? Because they built their lives chasing things but forgot to cultivate a relationship with the present. They achieved everything on the outside, but never learned how to be still and grateful on the inside. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to climb a ladder, only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall. Gratitude protects you from that kind of emptiness. It teaches you to enjoy the view from every step of the staircase, not just the top. It helps you find fulfillment in the process, not just the prize. When you are grateful, you don't need everything to be perfect to feel peace. You carry peace with you. And here's something else. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop growing or dreaming. It doesn't mean you settle. Quite the opposite. Gratitude and ambition are not enemies, they are partners. Gratitude says, I love where I am, while ambition says, and I'm excited for where I'm going. Together, they create a life that is both rooted and rising. We must also learn to be grateful for the people walking alongside us. So many times we overlook the relationships in our lives because we're so focused on ourselves. But the journey is richer when we acknowledge those who support us, challenge us, and even those who've hurt us, because all of them have shaped who we're becoming. No one reaches their destination alone. Take time to express appreciation for the mentor who believed in you, for the friend who stayed, for the family member who never gave up on you, for the stranger who showed you kindness on a hard day. Gratitude strengthens connection, and connection gives life meaning. Let me leave you with this. Your journey is not just a path to walk, it's a moment to cherish. If you rush through it, constantly chasing the next thing, you will miss the very essence of what it means to be alive. But if you learn to pause, to notice, to say thank you, not just occasionally, but consistently, you will discover a joy that no achievement alone can give you. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are right where you are meant to be, and this moment is sacred. The lesson you're learning, the strength you're building, the resilience you're developing, it matters. Let your gratitude anchor you to the truth that this journey, with all its ups and downs, is already something worth celebrating. There is a quiet truth that often gets buried beneath the noise of our ambitions. That we are not only moving toward our dreams, but being shaped by the very journey it takes to reach them. In fact, the deeper truth is this: you are not becoming someone at the end of your path. You are already becoming someone along the way. With every step, every decision, every hardship and triumph, you are unfolding into the person you were meant to be. So often we hear people say, when I finally get there, I'll know who I am. As if identity waits for us at some final destination, as if it's a prize to be unwrapped only once the goals are met and the finish line is crossed. But that's not how self-discovery works. Who you are is not discovered at the end. It's revealed in the process. And the process is ongoing, ever-changing, always evolving. The journey stretches us. It challenges us. It forces us to examine what we believe, what we value, and what we're made of. Think about the person you were 5 years ago. What you thought you wanted. What you feared. What you believed about your own worth. Chances are you've changed. And you didn't need a destination to do it. You changed because life taught you something along the way. Self-discovery is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It sneaks in during your failures and whispers in your lonely moments. It taps you on the shoulder during unexpected opportunities and holds your hand during heartbreak. It's that inner knowing that grows stronger the more you listen, the more you reflect, the more you're willing to pay attention to the way life is shaping you, not just what you're doing, but who you're becoming as you do it. Every challenge you face on your path carries a mirror. It asks you, who are you in this moment? Who do you choose to be when things don't go as planned? When the people around you don't believe in you? When the doors stay closed? When the outcome is uncertain? These are the moments that carve character. And in facing them, something in you deepens. Strength develops. Clarity sharpens. Purpose refines. And let's not forget, this self-discovery isn't always comfortable. It means confronting parts of ourselves we'd rather avoid. Our insecurities, our assumptions, our limitations. But it also means discovering the gifts we didn't know we had. Our courage, our creativity, our empathy. You cannot grow if you're not willing to look within. You cannot evolve if you only seek validation from the outside world. True self-awareness comes from tuning in to that quiet voice inside that says, this is who I really am, even when the world wants you to be someone else. Along your journey, you'll also come face to face with moments that test your alignment. You'll be tempted to compromise your values for approval. You'll be pulled in directions that seem easier but don't feel right. You'll learn that saying yes to your truth often means saying no to the crowd. And each time you choose alignment over acceptance, you come closer to yourself. You will also learn that self-discovery isn't a solitary act. It is revealed in your relationships. The people who support you, challenge you, love you, and even the ones who hurt you, they're all part of the discovery process. Every connection holds a lesson. Some people mirror your light, others reveal your shadows. All of them help you see yourself more clearly. And as you evolve, so will your dreams. The goals you started with may not be the ones you end up chasing. That's not failure, it's growth. It's okay to outgrow your original vision. In fact, that's a sign that you're listening to your evolving self. The more you learn about who you are, the more you'll want your life to reflect that truth. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to change direction if your soul asks you to. That's the beauty of the journey. It's not just about reaching a destination. It's about awakening. Awakening to your strengths. Awakening to your voice. Awakening to your worth, not because someone else told you, but because you started to believe it for yourself. And that awakening is something that no one can give you, and no one can take away. You will never be a finished product. That's not how human beings work. We are constantly becoming, constantly stretching, constantly rewriting the story as we live it. And the more you embrace that fluidity, the more empowered you become. Because you realize there is no pressure to be perfect, only a calling to be present, to be honest, to be brave, to be aware. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're waiting to finally arrive before you can accept yourself, before you can celebrate who you are, I urge you to stop waiting. Your journey is not a delay. It is not a detour. It is the very soil from which your identity is blooming. Look around you. The experiences you're having, the lessons you're learning, the inner voice you're learning to trust, these are not distractions from your purpose. They are your purpose in motion. Every day you are uncovering more of who you are. Every decision you make with intention, every time you honor your truth, every time you rise after falling, those are the milestones that matter. The most important destination is not out there somewhere in the distance. It is within you. And every step you take, no matter how small, is helping to shape the most important creation you'll ever build, yourself. As we come to the end of this message, let us remind ourselves that life is not a finish line to be crossed, but a path to be walked with presence, purpose, and courage. We live in a world that glorifies outcomes, titles, trophies, achievements, but real growth, real fulfillment, is born in the steps between where you started and where you believe you're headed. We have explored the truth that this journey we are on is not just a means to an end. It is the end in itself. Every failure that shaped us, every detour that redirected us, every quiet moment of gratitude that grounded us, and every realization of who we are becoming, all of it matters. All of it belongs. And all of it is part of your story. Do not wait until you arrive to feel proud, to feel worthy, to feel alive. You are already on sacred ground right here, right now. The lessons you're learning in motion are shaping you into a version of yourself you haven't even met yet. And that is a beautiful, powerful thing. So walk your journey with your eyes open, your heart willing, and your spirit grateful. Let the road refine you, not define you. Celebrate the steps, not just the stops. And remember, this life isn't about reaching a destination. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be, one step, one moment, one truth at a time. The journey is the destination. And you, my friend, are right on time. Thank you.